Senate Republicans pushed through Trump's mega bill. Medicaid, taxes, and political risk collide. After a 26-hour legislative marathon that blurred the line between urgency and exhaustion, Senate Republicans have cleared President Trump's sweeping tax and spending package, sending it barreling toward a final showdown in the House. In a 51-49 vote early Tuesday afternoon, the Senate passed what Trump himself has called the Big Beautiful Bill, a legislative behemoth that makes permanent key portions of his 2017 tax cuts, eliminates taxes on tips and overtime, and initiates the largest Medicaid cuts in U.S. history, affecting over 41 million Americans. The bill's passage marks a turning point for Senate Majority Leader John Thune, who secured his first major legislative victory since assuming GOP leadership. It came at a cost: weeks of behind-the-scenes negotiations, intra-party bargaining, and strategic power decentralization that left Thune praised as patient and persuasive, even as dissent simmered just below the surface. One of the final dominoes to fall was Senator Lisa Murkowski, who, true to form, leveraged her pivotal vote into a raft of state-specific carve-outs, among them a $50 billion rural hospital fund, tax exemptions for indigenous fishermen, and a five-fold expansion in whaling expense deductions. Critics like Senator Rand Paul were quick to call it vote purchasing, while Murkowski defended the moves as representing Alaskan reality, not political theater. But it wasn't just fiscal horse trading that defined the bill's narrow passage. Senator Thom Tillis announced he would not seek re-election just hours after losing a battle to block Medicaid cuts from the final bill. His decision underscored a sobering political reality. In this version of Washington, crossing Trump is still a one-way street. When Tillis texted Trump that he was out, the former president promptly attacked him on Truth Social and promised to find a primary challenger anyway. Trump's fingerprints are all over this legislation, from the elimination of taxes on tipped workers to the Medicaid cuts he's long championed. But it's the Medicaid rollback that will reverberate far beyond Capitol Hill. The bill rolls back ACA-era expansions, imposes work requirements, and adjusts federal matching rates, measures that nonpartisan analysts say could force states to drop or restructure coverage for millions of low-income families, the elderly, and people with disabilities. As the bill moves to the House, the situation grows more volatile. Speaker Mike Johnson faces deep frustration in his own ranks. House conservatives like Rep. Chip Roy and Rep. Rolf Norman have blasted the Senate's version of the bill for betraying fiscal restraint. Roy admitted that while the president is lobbying hard for final passage, the package doesn't deliver on its full promise and may yet face resistance on the floor. It's a moment of ideological tension. Fiscal hawks bristle at increased spending to secure swing votes, while MAGA-aligned members feel squeezed between loyalty to Trump and their own constituents' Medicaid safety nets. Perhaps the most glaring irony? Many of the senators who voted yes did so after failing to pass their own amendment to slash Medicaid even further by $313 billion. That amendment, sponsored by Senators Ron Johnson, Rick Scott, and Mike Lee, never made it to the floor. Yet all three senators ultimately voted for the final package. So, where does this leave us? On one side of the Capitol, a fatigued Senate willing to trade long-term fiscal clarity for short-term legislative wins. On the other, a divided House caucus balancing loyalty, ideology, and re-election math under Trump's watchful gaze. For the rest of America, especially the 41 million who rely on Medicaid, the fallout is far from abstract. It's a question of survival, dignity, and whether the scaffolding of the modern American safety net can withstand another round of political brinksmanship.